Adidas CEO. Kanye West didn't mean anti-Semitic remarks. This is a Reuters story. Adidas CEO Bjorn Gulden defended Kanye West, stating, I don't think he meant that. He said, and I don't think he's a bad person, regarding Ye's anti-Semitic remarks that led to the termination of their Yeezy collaboration. Gulden acknowledged that Ye has made statements that weren't that good and praised him as one of the most creative people in the world, both in music and what I will call street culture. Adidas maintained its decision to end the partnership with Ye, with a spokesperson affirming ending the partnership was appropriate. You think there's going to be a comeback of Ye coming to Adidas? What do you think when you hear this story?
I think the whole thing was a setup. I think it was planned. I think Ye is a genius. And based on my interview with him, the way he was talking to us before the show is nothing like his public persona. He was calm, rational, completely lucid, having a real conversation. He was acting like this. He was like, so what do you think about if I were to do X, Y, and Z, right? What's going on with Mike Pence? How do they feel about him? That's how he was talking.
Yeah.
Camera turns on. Yo, man, I'm telling you, got this guy in his banks. And I was like, what the just happened? And then he had a private jet waiting for him after the show ended. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how you book a private jet in a couple hours.
Oh,
right?
wow.
That's right.
Oh, wow. That's
because
pretty,
if you guys fly in private jets, you know you got to charter these things in advance. They got to get ground crews. When the ground crew is notified,
it's a headache.
wait
I
period.
stopped it. That's a real headache.
So
I just go Southwest.
yeah.
I get,
But
you can buy the pre-board.
So stressed out.
Easy.
You know, it's
No, I got to be honest. It's flying commercial is a nightmare. United took me off of my first class ticket and rebooked me without telling me at 4 a.m. onto a seat all the way in the back, economy minus, whatever it's called. That thing where you're not allowed to have a carry-on. And I was like, bro, I paid $1,000 for this flight because we're going to this trip. And I was coming home, and then they were like, too bad, take the flight or stay. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But anyway.
So yeah, so you were saying, Tim, about so he's on the. I'm curious on where the setup is, because if he's on camera, off camera speaking one certain way, all of a sudden camera's on like almost some MK Ultra
every
crazy,
newspaper.
yeah, and then I get the point that you were making, like, and Pat knows this, like trying to get a freaking. It's a system. They got to get people's names. They got to pre-board, pre-check you, and do all that stuff. So you're saying like set up in what sense?
So Shane Cashman, one of our writers, is a huge Ye fan. And he wrote this article about how Ye has these periods where he shocks the world in an offensive way and then leaves for a little bit and then has a major comeback. It's like a PR strategy or something to that effect. He comes out and he says all these things. He agrees to come on our show. Before the show, while we're talking, totally lucid and calm, he says, I have no reason to be on a show like this. And I said, you're completely right. I was like, why are you here? Like, you don't get more famous. If you want to come on my show, I appreciate it. And he's like, well, these guys told me I should do it. But he's like, what I'm really interested in is you telling me how I become president. And I said, ballot harvesting. He's like, ballot harvesting. I'm like, I said, you want to know how the Democrats won? They don't win by convincing people. They win by getting more votes. And you get more votes if you're ballot harvesting. He goes, ballot harvesting. He writes it down. And he goes, I got what I needed.
Shut up.
Not kidding. Show starts, and all of a sudden he goes from this calm, lucid guy to, yo, man, I'm going to get a PJ if you keep talking like that. And then he gets up and he walks out, and I'm like, he's smiling. Yeah. He goes downstairs, he thanks everybody, shakes hands. He tells my writer, you want to come with me back to LA and work with on some stuff? Plane was waiting for him. I called our charter company, and I said, did you give him a plane? Like, what happened? And they were like, no. And I'm like, Frederick Municipal has a private jet. I think it was like a Gulfstream or something waiting for Ye. And he can leave. I'm not mad about that. But how did he get a PJ in an hour? And my broker, the charter lady, she's like, that's not possible.
Wow.
So the plane,
he knew it.
Then people are like, why would he do that? Because he got the front page of every newspaper by walking out on the show.
I see that.
If he does an interview on, like, okay, Timcast IRL is a big show. I get it. We typically have like some of the highest live numbers. I think we're the biggest live show consistently every night on YouTube. But we're nowhere near the biggest.
I don't beat you. You're sure I don't beat you.
You don't beat us?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm kidding.
But like, we're not the biggest show in the world or anything like that. You know, in terms of podcasts, we do well. So people are like, why would he go on your show? And I'm like, doing an interview with me gets him nothing. He does the interview. There are some clips. People roll their eyes. Storming off the interview is hot press for all the tabloids.
Big time. And
but Tim, that was your
I think
show.
the important question is, what color is your PJ, Jimmy?
His pajamas or his private jet?
Everybody's wondering, like, PJ, why was he his PJ?
And Pat, didn't he just trademark? Yesterday, he trademarked 25 names for Yews. Yews. Kanye did that, which sounds like Yeezus and Jews. I don't know what he's Did you see that?
Oh, there it
he
is.
trademarked use.
Wow. But I want to give some context too, because you guys have flown on private jets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy,
I have not.
multiple times, obviously.
But people need to understand is it's not as people assume you have to have a multi-million-dollar jet. It's not. Some private jets only cost a couple $100,000. No joke. If you look up on these websites, you can find a lot of the jets that they charter and they fly are from 1980, and they're like $200,000 to buy. I'm not saying people have $200,000, but it's not $10 million like you see these CEOs on Gulfstreams. Chartering a private jet can be $6,000, $8,000. If you've got 8 to 12 people, and you're trying to fly last minute for work, it could actually be cheaper than flying commercial if you're working in a corporation.
What kind of plane is this? Is this the kind of plane that's
Air?
crashed $6,000 to $8,000?
No, turboprops.
Yeah.
We should look into
turboprops.
this next time you want to go.
No,
But Tim, back to your master plan from Kanye. Okay, that was his master plan for your show.
Well, I don't
but
know. I don't know.
I mean,
He's
this is all
assuming.
speculation, but it seems pretty accurate. I just, from your opinion, because you did this on your show, but it was part of a bigger master plan. What's his overall master plan to get in the headlines? All right, because so one can argue, all right, I'm going to run up on stage and I'm going to tell Taylor Swift that it should have been Beyonce. All right, cool. You know,
Mike Myers,
eyeballs,
George W.
awesome.
Bush doesn't care about black
Right?
people.
Yeah.
Mike Myers,
Yeah.
George W. Okay, awesome. Hey, I'm gonna marry Kim K. I'm gonna get all the women in the world are gonna. My next album, okay, and amazing. All right, I'm gonna team up with Jay-Z, Watch the Throne.
Now, marrying
I'm gonna-
Kim K wasn't a stunt. He loved that woman.
Obviously, but there was some
some
stuff go involved there. Then, all right, I'm gonna go see Donald Trump with Jim Brown. I'm gonna do all that. Walk me through. Let me go full pro Hitler, anti-Jew, DEFCON 3. Walk me through the marketing strategy for that.
I mean, I can only speculate, but he's a billionaire. He's done
Not
it.
anymore.
Yeah, but what does it really mean to be a billionaire? Like if you're talking about paper value and like shoe deals are worth a couple $100 million, the dude wants for nothing. Mm-hmm. You look at some of these people, they get to that point where they're bored. I had a buddy of mine became a millionaire at 16. I didn't meet him when we were 16. I met him when we were in our late 20s. And he told me that for most people, at least that he knows, especially in the tech sector, they have an existential crisis once they get to that level of money. So like for him, he's like this young guy. He comes up with this idea. They start building this thing. And then all of a sudden, he's got millions of dollars. And he's sitting there staring at the wall like, what do I do? All my friends are at work. I'm not. I don't have to do anything now. I sold out. There's no company anymore. I don't need anything. And it was like a switch flip where he had an existential crisis. And he says, a bunch of my friends experienced this. So you look at someone like Ye, and I'm like, he's bored. He's bored, and it's funny, and there's nothing you can do about it because he's more powerful than you. It makes him laugh. He wants to see what'll happen. He wants to challenge preconceived notions. He wants to break people out of what he perceives as the Matrix. He made a point that a lot of people praised when he said that he loved Hitler. And people were shocked by it. And I think the point he was trying to make was, as a Christian, he loves everyone, even the most evil people. He wants salvation for them. But he also knows that by saying something so shocking, you would freak out. And he's trying to prove that point that you don't love people. And I'm like, I can understand why nobody likes Hitler, dude. Are you crazy? But he's trying to make a point. I could only speculate. He wants to shock you. It's punk rock. I mean, I'm not saying it's a good thing. But what was it? Sid Vicious wore a swastika. It's like, why did he do that?
Jimmy, why are you smiling? You got this big smile.
Jimmy knows what's going on.
Jimmy's like, listen, I've been a billionaire since 16 years old.
Jimmy, is there anything you'd like to say
17
about the Jews
PJs.
right now?
Well, I remember when this happened, my friend called me. He goes, hey, did you hear the Jews canceled Kanye? And I was like, did they catch him shipping arms to Nazis in Ukraine? And they said, no, he just said some stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's bad too.
Yeah.
Simple.
Did the Jews cancel Kanye, or did he actually cancel himself? Because it sounds like this was
He's
part of
he's
a...
uncanceled.
But yeah, he's,
Look at
Is that what
Adidas
happened?
guy.
He's
now?
back.
He's
Look at
back?
this.
Okay.
Yeah, but and Tim, you made a point earlier. Like, if he got canceled for saying those words, the Canadian Parliament had an actual Nazi on the goddamn
Well
floor.
put, Vinny.
They should have canceled the Canadian. They'll shut down Canada. Are you freaking kidding me? And I get it, words hurt, but for that moment to go down, and what they do, they just fire the Speaker of the House. Just steps down. Yeah. You had a Nazi that actually killed Jews. That is absurd.
A Hitler Nazi.
A Hitler Nazi, not a regular.
Not a
today
neo-Nazi.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the original, the OG.
Not a
OG
neo-Nazi.
kind.
Yeah.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.